Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your game, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another edition of the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I am Rob, and I'm here with the one and only Mr. Rob Norton. Nort, how'd the weekend treat you?
Not too bad. I had a good amount of buys and things, so I probably went 50-50 on the games that I was playing actually meant something. So
Okay.
not too bad. But I got a pretty good amount of teams still alive, or at least a decent amount. What about you?
So I had my main leagues that I got going on. I had 4 redrafts. One of them was a bye. I went 1-1 in the other. So I'm 3-1.
Okay.
So I went 3-1, and then my dynasty leagues, my 2 dynasty leagues, I was the number 1 seed in both. In the ones that I was in, and me and Mario had a co-managed league that we royally screwed up on. It's the league we're in with you. We were talking about it.
I did see that.
Yeah, for me that one's weird because I know I should check it, but a lot of the time Mario fills it in. But with the late injuries and stuff like that, you know, I got to take ownership. We both are in on it and like try to keep up with it. But again, we just got so many leagues and we were not up to date with and we left the Lave in, which ended up killing us. So sucks to suck. It was definitely our fault. So can't blame anybody but us. So that league I lost, but the other 2, my main 2 dynasty leagues, I had the 1 seed in, and then my other, like I said, my redrafts, I went 3-1. So for the most part, pretty good.
That's a good feeling. Always a good feeling when you're advancing a good amount of teams.
Yeah. I only lost 1 team, or I guess 2, to co-manage. What's up, guys?
What's up, fellas?
So, overall, I'm pretty happy with how many teams I got moving on to round 2 of the playoffs. Don't like the injury stuff that's going on, which we are going to get to in a second. So we'll try to keep you up to date the best we can with all these injuries and people not practicing today. It's pretty wild. But Nort, we are going to break down kind of the best and worst of the week. We're going to go individual players. We'll go by position, 2 players per position. I'm going to get your kind of read on them for the rest of this week. And it's only 2 weeks, right? So let's get your read on the rest of playoff push. Let's see if you're in or out, or if you're worried. Kind of your thermometer on these guys, where you're at, where you're sitting. I'm an ESPN's text. Nice. We're excited, man. Hey, another weekend. That's all that matters, right?
That's true.
Nort, let's get going on all these injuries because we got a lot to talk about here. I'm going to start with the do not participates today. Okay, it's a pretty extensive list. I don't know how serious a lot of them are, but let's kind of run through them. I'll just hit them all and then we'll talk about it. Marquise Brown, James Cook, obviously Jamar Chase, Tony Pollard missed today with a thumb injury. Jaden Reed was out. Christian Watson's still out. CJ Stroud and T-Law missed again today with concussions, which is not great for that. Zach Moss, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, Alexander Madison, and Ramondre are still out. Hunter Henry was on the list today. He did not practice. Zach Wilson's out with a concussion. Ken Walker, Will Levis, and Brian Robinson. And these are the guys that I thought were fantasy relevant. So I left off a bunch of other people that I didn't even they were borderline players. But these are the guys that I wanted to bring up and talk about, because not like Zach Wilson's not really fantasy relevant, but what does this do for the likes of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and stuff like that? So out of this list, who are your major concerns, and what are you thinking about with all these injuries?
Yeah, so it seems like you said, like you mentioned with Chase, when you said like obviously Jamar Chase, he looks like he's going to miss it at least this week, maybe another with the shoulder. So obviously that's a concern. He may not even give you anything the rest of the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a boost to T. Higgins, theoretically. And I mean, out of the other guys, Hollywood Brown seems very iffy. Kind of barely played last game. Christian Watson, I don't know what, I mean, his stuff has lingered. It's been like soft tissue injuries all year.
I don't know how you can trust him.
Yeah, exactly. Stroud seems like he's going to miss again. T-Law seems like he's going to miss.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing with these concussions, right? If it bleeds into, I think tomorrow is a really big day for those two. All talks out of Houston, it sounds like CJ's going to miss again. That's kind of what I'm gathering, especially with how big this game is. If there's talks of him missing it, it seems pretty likely. I don't think they would, unless it's just kind of they want to trick the Browns into thinking that Stroud's not going to play, but it's a massive game for them to get into the playoffs.
Right.
T-Law, I don't know. I mean, he finished the game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he finished the game. That's the craziest part to me on that one, because I saw it pop up I saw it pop up on Monday with T-Law with a concussion, and I don't remember anything happening in that game where he would have got a concussion. But obviously he's in the protocol, so we're gonna have to take it day by day. T-Law, I'm hoping he plays. We'll see tomorrow. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, my hopes are kind of dwindling on that.
Yeah.
I don't think CJ plays, because they're still saying that he's got a bunch of symptoms and stuff, and it's already been a week. And if it's still lingering, I think they're going to be overly cautious with it. Hunter Henry was an interesting one to me, that he's on the list.
Did you see the hit?
No, I didn't watch that game.
I saw one of like the Twitter doctors or PTs or whatever showed the play and said they're hoping okay, his head in the fourth quarter.
Okay, Albert.
Okay.
We'll get to this in a sec. Finish your thought, Norton, then we'll hit this question.
So they said they were a little bit worried about a knee issue, but they're hoping he avoided like any kind of knee damage, and it was just like more of a thigh thing, because the way he got hit, like his leg, he got hit kind of near like the knee thigh area, like close to both of them, and he could have like hyperextended the knee a little bit, but so he's one that's interesting because he had come alive the past couple of weeks. 19 points, I think.
I mean, this would be the week, right? If you were questioning a tight end, like you plug him in and hope he gets you 10 points. Right. You know, a top 12 tight end performance that's not going to kill you. Yeah. Because he's been consistent since Bailey Zappi's been in there, right? Like he's kind of been the guy for Bailey Zappi. Especially with all the receivers that are out there. Juju's still missing practice. I don't see him coming back. So yeah, that sucks for Hunter Henry, and a lot, because the tight end position, I feel like it's better than what it's been in the previous seasons. the tight end position. Like there's a little bit more consistency than what we've been seeing. Now you got like you have to take if you were playing Hunter Henry, which some people might have, like you got to kind of take a gamble on somebody like a Logan Thomas or Darren Waller if you can pick him up, something like that. But
Yeah.
I'm just like the amount of injuries that I saw today were like, it's like, damn, going into round 2 of the playoffs, this is something
It's
crazy.
it's
Like we're gonna have to
it's
pivot on
rough,
a lot
dude.
of things.
There's a lot.
But let's hit this question. I'm a football guy. Should I sit Jaden Reed for Brandon Cooks or Curtis Samuel? Washington has the New York Jets, and then the Cowboys have Miami.
Yep.
So obviously we're anticipating a lot of Well, Tyreek's going to be out, so obviously they're not as explosive. You would think they're
for
going to
sure
run
going to
the
be
ball.
out.
He missed today, so
Man,
I don't know, but you would think. I mean, if I'm Miami, I'm not going to rush him back because the playoffs are what's important, right?
right? Yeah.
Like, why try to risk it? Right? I mean, they're going to be super cautious with Tyreek.
Yeah. Yeah. For
And
sure.
Devin A-Chain. So you would think it'd be a lot of Raheem Mostert. We saw Jalen Waddle get banged up in that game. I feel like it's going to be a very conservative game going up against the Cowboys. I mean, you want to say it's going to be a really high-scoring game, but I feel like this could be I feel like it could be a lower-scoring game than what we all think.
Right. Yeah, definitely could.
Especially Miami's defense, man.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
They've been playing. Been playing.
My thought on this question is if Christian Watson's out, and Reed is in, I'd lean Reed. If Christian Watson is active, I'd probably lean Cooks.
Are any of these Thursday nights? Who's the Thursday night this week? Do you know?
No, Thursday is Rams and Saints.
Okay, so we got some time to clarify. So
yeah,
hit us up on Sunday morning, and we could probably get a little bit more clarity on this whole thing.
Yeah,
I like that. Like out of these 3, I'm leaning Jaden because again, I don't trust that Cowboys Miami game. I could be overthinking it.
Yeah,
Curtis
and neither
Samuel,
of them are a Saturday game either.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel is super interesting to me, but who's the quarterback going to be?
Yeah,
did they announce this yet? Like,
they
yanked Sam Howell, put in Jacoby Brissett. Brissett looked awesome at the back half. Sam Howell looked terrible. Like, that's a big question mark with who's going to be the quarterback in Washington and what they're going to do. But I love Curtis Samuel. I think he's great. But out of this list, Jaden Reed's been so good. I think we need to keep watching Jaden Reed's progression throughout the week on this injury. Because if he's like, he could be full practice tomorrow and then we're good, right? Like we don't have to worry about it. I'd plug in Jaden Reed.
And luckily
it's going to be, we're going to have to keep an eye on all this stuff throughout the week and we'll get more clarity Sunday.
Yeah. Luckily all of them play Sunday. And with the Packers, the Packers news is the most pivotal of this to me because if Watson's in and Reed's out, obviously you pivot if Reed is out at all, clearly. But like if
Watson's in, it changes your opinion on Reed
a little bit, like just
really okay.
Just the fact that
it's not touching it for me.
Okay,
it's really
okay.
Not. See, I feel like Jaden Reed's turning into the one there.
It's I like Jaden Reed. It's just that if there's more guys that I feel comfortable like if Watson's in versus out, I feel like Watson at least will command some.
Sure, volume. But like, are you willing to say he would ding Jaden Reed enough to play like Brandon Cooks or Curtis Samuel over him?
Like, I think I would probably rank it Cooks, Reed, Samuel, but all honestly in like the wide receiver 30 to 40 range. Yep. Yeah. So it's pretty close either way. But again, it could change all Sunday. Obviously, we're going to monitor news and things on this situation. And again, luckily, Reed and the Packers play at 1. And so do Curtis Samuel, and then Cooks plays at 4:25. So you're going to have all the info you need.
Let's pivot to this question. Is this the same league, MA Football? He says, and should I pick up Amari Cooper for Olave? No.
Yeah, definitely Olave for me.
Yeah, Olave overall, but if you can pick up Cooper and drop somebody else, I would do that. I mean, Amari's been balling with Joe Flacco, right? They're throwing the ball 45 times a game. If you can pick up Amari, like I would pick up Amari, so it's the same league.
Yeah, Amari Cooper over all three of
It's
those
the
other guys
same
for me.
league. It's the same league as this one, is my question. And if it is, I would drop Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, probably. I'd be fine with.
I would drop Brandon Cooks
I
and
have
play Amari.
Yeah, I'd have Amari Cooper over any of them. So
I agree with that. Ace
So
of
I'm cool.
Spades. Full PPR. Should I go Likely or Waller?
Ooh,
Baltimore has San Francisco.
That is tough.
Trey McBride had a nice day. I'm not saying Likely Trey McBride, but
I gotta go Likely.
he's
Still,
not bad. I think I go Likely.
Even with tougher.
I don't think I can't trust Waller. Is Danny? Not Danny Dimes. Tommy Cutlets. Is he? What's up? I didn't see him on the injury report.
I didn't either.
Which is interesting. So that's something else I'd have to monitor. Like if that looked like a vicious shot where he wouldn't play this week. So if DeVito's out, I'm definitely not playing Waller.
Yeah, no,
right?
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Likely.
I go Likely. I'm going Likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm a football guy. If that's the same team as the Jaden Reed, Brandon Cooks, I would drop Brandon Cooks, pick up Amari, play Amari over Jaden. That's how I play that.
Play both Amari and Olave.
Yeah. Norts, Jonathan Taylor, full practice. Zach Moss missing. Are you willing to play Taylor if he's a go and Zach Moss misses?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He's going to be he's probably going to be top. He's definitely going to be top 10 for me.
Playing Atlanta. Decent rush defense. I'd say probably middle of the pack.
He may even crack top 5 for me, honestly.
No problem, brother.
I'm trying to think of
Cleveland's got Houston this week. Defense has been playing better, but I mean, Amari Cooper's Amari Cooper, right? And again, they're throwing the ball 45 times a game. He's going to get 10 targets. So that's what you want. You want the volume.
Sure.
So I think it's a solid play, especially with the question marks, with the injuries, and Brandon Cooks and Curtis Samuel. Yeah, they've had good games, but they've been really inconsistent. Amari's been pretty consistent this year. But yeah, so Jonathan Taylor, full go, huh? RB1.
Yeah, I mean,
12 performance coming.
Top 12 for me, definitely. Maybe definitely top 10. Probably, I might even rank him top 5. I mean, the only ones I can think of offhand: McCaffrey, obviously. Probably Kyren Williams, Kamara. After that, I mean, I don't know who else I would feel like definitely over JT. Like,
but I get what you're saying. You can't name 10 backs, right? That you would rather play.
There's a lot in that area. Like, he's going to be in a big glob for me. Taylor's going to be in a big glob where it's like Taylor, Eckler, Rashad, Pollard, Mostert, possibly ETN, Chandler, if Madison doesn't go, James Cook. Like, there's a bunch of guys in that range of like 4 through 15, basically, that you can make a case for any of them at 4, any of them at 15.
Especially with James Cook, Tony Pollard, again, A-Chain, Zach Moss, like ton of RBs that are going down. Brian Robinson's still out. It's wild. Yeah, it's going to be waiver wire finds are going to really win this year.
It's
same
crazy.
League, full PPR, Olave, A-Chain, London, or Deontay, or Chuba.
So just one of these.
Flex. Just one of these guys. I'm playing Olave.
Yeah, same. I mean,
I'm gonna.
If it's just your flex spot,
Achance on the injury report. Who knows if he's going to even play this week? They said Olave is going to play, which I have that on the bottom of the list here, which we were going to get to. But coach came out and said that Olave is going to be a full go for Thursday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr looked okay last week. He looked a little better. Drake London, I love as a talent, but I don't know how you can trust him, even though Taylor Heineke's playing this week, which I like more for London, but I still can't trust it. Deonta, Mason Rudolph's playing, so how do you trust that? Right? So it's just like to me, it really boils down to Olave and Chuba, and at that point, it's obviously you want to play a Chan, but I don't know how you can with the injuries, and
I know
he's been not as good since he came back, right? Like he's another one where I think they're going to be way over. They're going to wait on him. They don't want to rush him back. That seems like did they clinch a playoff spot, or they're like super close to clinching his playoff spot?
Something like that. He's one of the.
I don't see them missing.
Achan's going to be the one of the hardest ones for me to really rank
this
and
week's
make
tough
calls. Yeah, because
this week's
I have him in a few leagues, and like I'm gonna have to make calls like with him, and he's someone that I keep thinking about. Like
I'm actually in this camp where I have to pick between Olave and him.
Yeah.
So I have to make it by tomorrow. So I'm right there with you. I get it. I just don't. Like your pivots off of Olave. If you don't play Olave and a Chan doesn't play, like your pivots aren't good enough, right? Does that make sense, Norton?
That's how I feel too with it.
Like if I had a pivot where I'm very comfortable, that's the thing, right? Like if I had a pivot that I was comfortable with, if he missed and I didn't play Olave, and you had a third guy that you're super comfortable with, like I'd be fine with that, risking it and playing him. But if you don't play Olave for tomorrow night and he doesn't play, you're running somebody out that might get you 5 points.
Exactly.
It's tough. It's a tough call. It really is. It's just, do you want to gamble on the upside and hopefully he plays? What was his injury? It was like a toe injury or something too.
I think so.
Which isn't great for a speedster.
Which he had it last week too, right? Like, and then he ended up playing, but he's kind of been like they've been kind of like monitoring
10 points,
him.
maybe. Mm-hmm. He's on a pitch count. Clearly, like it looks like he's on a pitch count.
Yeah, for sure. Because it says even like he was listed as non-participant. He approached this past Sunday's win over the Jets listed as questionable, and having worked in limited fashion Friday, ended up getting 9 carries and 3 catches. But so it says there's a decent chance both play, him and Mostert. But again, obviously you gotta. It's a risk.
It is.
I see my decision comes down to in one league I have
Saints got the Rams.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Saints Rams. In my league, one of the decisions comes down to so I can play 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a flex, right? So I'm gonna play McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, and then my receivers I have Diggs, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, and Garrett Wilson. So I'm gonna have to sit one of probably either Flowers, HN, Garrett Wilson, right? Probably one of those 3. I'm gonna have to sit one of them. So
we'll get to one of those guys in a little bit, but
for sure, a little teaser.
I think, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Baltimore's got San Francisco, which what's his name's been playing lights out. Which he might be on Odell though. Ward.
Yeah.
What's
Travarius Ward? I think.
Travarius.
Yeah.
He's been playing lights out, man.
But
they might put him on Odell. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's just finish these up and then we'll get to our best of the week. Flacco limited with a calf. I'm not too concerned about it. Don't think it's a big deal. He practiced still. Gino and Kenny Pickett were back at practice, which is interesting. Gino, I did not expect Pickett.
Same.
So we'll see. I guess we'll keep monitoring that. I think they already said Mason Rudolph's going to be the starter this week.
Yeah, although Tomlin did say that if once Pickett's healthy enough, he is the starter. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
But they did name Mason Rudolph the starter. So I'm assuming that Pickett will practice limited and not play. That's
Play
my
next week.
assumption. Yeah. That's what
I
I'm
think
thinking is
I'm
going to
with
go down. So
I think I'm with you. It also kind of boils down to, do they win this game, right? Pittsburgh, they got Cincinnati. So if they lose this game, say they lose, Cincinnati would obviously win. And then if it looks like they're going to miss the playoffs, do you even play Kenny Pickett this year? Right? Coming off a surgery.
Right. Yeah. Why risk it when,
What?
like,
Right?
and you obviously know what the other two are.
Like, and you know what he is at this point.
Right.
To a degree, like, you know, if you're going to, in my opinion, if you're the Steelers, you know if you're going to continue on with him after this season or not. So it's like, what's the difference?
Right. And if you're going to continue on with him, why risk further injury in a meaningless?
And you would, if it looks like you're not going to make the playoffs, why? It's crazy. I mean, why would you put your best quarterback out there
to win? Better chance of winning.
To win, because you have a better chance to win, and you also have that out of, like, I don't want to get him hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an easy decision to be like, well, let's not put you in there.
Right.
We'll play Mason Rudolph. They can lose out and then get a better pick. Right.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure
makes sense. It all makes
GM
sense.
would love that.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how they play it. We'll see if they win this week or another long week for them, because it's been a very. Oh, they also I didn't have time to write this in there. There was a report today that Tomlin. I didn't see the interview, but Tomlin said, when asked if Pickens was going to play this week, that he is undecided with how poorly he's been blocking and effort that he's been giving.
Yeah. No, I saw something. I think it was in one of our group chats earlier. Mario was asking House about it.
Did he say that? Okay. Yeah. So.
And
interesting.
I can't remember exactly what he. I remember House
the wheels are falling off.
A shit show. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that's something to keep an eye on, right? And if he doesn't play, does that make Deontay more? Coming back to that question from Ace of Spades, does that make Deontay more desirable? I don't think so. Again, if Mason Rudolph's a QB, like, I'm not playing anybody. I don't care. I don't really care who's how good they are. Like, if you got Mason Rudolph throwing you the ball, I am not anticipating a good day. So I don't know. Again, I guess even if Pickens plays, I'm not playing him.
Yeah, probably not.
So
probably not.
Oh, we just hit this. We've gotten both Pacheco and Jake. There you go, dude. Is this all on the same team? His team seems stacked. Like,
yeah, this is nice.
I'm seeing he just picked Amari up off waivers. This is how many people in that league? Who's dropping Amari?
It's wild.
What's going on?
What's going on? MA football guys reaping the rewards, though. I tell you,
dude, making a squad for that playoff push.
Sure.
Let's get into, believe it or not, Nort. Believe it or not, let's get into some of these best of the weeks. Are you a Seinfeld guy?
I haven't watched it as much as most people. I will say that I do catch, like, every now and then on reruns and stuff, and I do like it. I've just never actually sat down and watched it. I've never actually seen it all the way through.
So disappointed.
I know.
It is my. It's like this and The Office are my two go-to shows. If I'm like doing something, or I need to, if I'm in a bad mood or something, I'll throw them on.
I thought it was. I was like, I'm pretty sure you were the one who told us that Seinfeld was one of your go-tos when you're just.
I think I drafted Seinfeld. I drafted Seinfeld in our draft, the TV draft.
For sure, dude.
This
It's
preseason.
good.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
It is. It is, and this is a very good reference if you knew the show. This photo. So,
Okay.
yeah, I won't sing you the song, but the people watching and listening, they know what I'm talking about. Believe it or not. Let's get into it. Joe Flacco. We were just talking about him. Week 15 performance, not his best as of Cleveland Brown, but he still put up some pretty decent fantasy points. 28 of 44, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Obviously not the best, but he still came with 20.4 fantasy points, good enough for QB8 on the week. I believe he's thrown for 300 yards plus in 3 straight games. I think multiple touchdowns in all 3 games. What's your read on Joe Flacco for the rest of? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I didn't pull it up, but I thought I read it that he's since he took over starting, he's QB6 in fantasy.
It's just so wild.
So
crazy. He's slinging
where are
it,
you
dude.
at with some Joey Flacco? Well, I talked about it earlier. Dude, he's thrown it 44 times a game. Like that, he's averaging 40 plus throws a game, and we talk about this. Name of the game in fantasy is volume, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Volume. The more you throw, the more opportunities, the more yards you get. More chances of interceptions, but obviously more chances for touchdowns. He had 3 picks and still came away with 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that they're clearly letting him sling it. So you love to see that.
Yes, and obviously we're Browns fans, so we can go on ad nauseum about this, but the reason they're throwing 45 times a game is the run game is non-existent, right? All these injuries on the offensive line have caught up to them. They can't run the ball it seems like every time they run the ball, they're barely getting back to the line. So that's why it's turned into Joe Flacco is an extension of the run game with his quick 5-yard outs, stuff like that. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I don't. That being said, as much as I want it to, I feel like I can't. I still just can't get there with this level. Like I'm not gonna rank him top 10 this week. I don't think so. At least. I mean, I'm.
Let me keep talking. Go on.
You're good. I'm probably gonna have him closer to 18, QB 18. And maybe that's dumb considering what he's been doing, but it's so hard for me to get
throwing it out there. 3 weeks he's been playing. QB 13, 6, and then 8.
Yeah. He's been good for fantasy for sure.
And Tommy DeVito's the darling of the NFL. He's had 1 game above QB 16.
Yeah.
I
Tommy Kelce.
I think there's I don't know, and I understand. I completely understand where you're coming from, but I think there's a weird. I don't know if it's the injuries or what's going on with the talk about Joe Flacco, because I listened to the podcast yesterday with Mario and Alex, and they were talking about the same thing, just QB streamers for the week, stuff like that. I don't know if it's the injuries, if it's just the Browns in general, and we're afraid to say a quarterback is playing well, something like that. But I don't know what the stench is on him because he's putting the numbers up.
Yeah, I mean,
and what's the reason that you're not confident in playing him after these 3? Is it just the 3 games and he's a 40-year-old quarterback that hasn't played?
Essentially, a small sample size.
Okay. That's fair. No, it's fair.
But also, I'm running down. I'm just looking at lists, and I'm like, okay, I'm not putting him over Hurts, Allen, Fields, Mahomes, Lamar, Dak, Purdy, Tua.
Okay, I get all this, but why are you so much more? I get it. Trust me, I understand. But this is going to sound crazy. Why are you so much more confident in Patrick Mahomes after what he's done in his past 7 games?
It's just
QB 29, QB 11, 15, 9, 16, 19, 17. Are you confident rolling that out?
I
And I
am
get you
still just
can't
because I
bench
know
Patty
it's
Mahomes. I
right,
get
and
it.
that's the
Like
thing.
you
It's like,
can't do that.
yeah,
But
it
I
is.
think
It
there's a
is crazy to think
conversation to be
about.
had.
Right, it is crazy to think about, and it's like, and
Same
it's
with
weird that,
Tua,
yeah, and it's
right?
weird that we're talking about it like in the fantasy playoffs, Joe Flacco or these guys.
Yeah.
But
He's been QB 13 or better, while Tua's had one in his past month. He's been QB 22 or worse in 3 of the 4 games.
yeah, and
You
see, the
know,
thing
it's
is
just like,
like, I'm like, my thing is like, ultimately, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's such a small sample size. He's done it 3 games, whereas these guys
I
have
get
such a larger sample size of success. They have better weapons. Um, and it's like, I mean, I guess you could make the case in Kansas City versus Cleveland, but like, it's still Kelce over whatever, and Rasheed
we'll get
Rice,
to him.
Mark Cooper. Like, the weapons argument could be made. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Okay, here you go. This is a great question because I was going to bring up Baker. How would you rank these? Flacco, Baker, Stafford?
I think I go Baker
Really?
versus Jacksonville. Yeah. Dude, Baker's
Okay.
been awesome too.
I'm just curious. Is it because of what he did last game? I think Stafford has a good case. He's been QB 6, 8, 5, 16. He had a down week a little bit this week, but he still had a pretty decent day. Where Baker,
You have
on the other
Baker's
hand, no, that was Matthew Stafford over the past month. Where
right.
Baker, on the other hand, yeah, he's been playing well, but his last 5 games, QB 20, 14, 20, 12, 2. He had a really good week this week, but it was 1 game.
Right. I mean, Stafford. The thing was, Stafford came alive for what, about 3 weeks, and then last week it was mid pack again. He had been mostly mid pack all year. Stafford had,
Stafford?
and like, if you look at his season,
Yes.
it was like mid pack all year because he wasn't getting the touchdowns. Then all of a sudden he hit like 3-3-4 or something like that with touchdowns for 3 straight weeks. Got that nice little touchdown regression to the positive side, and we were waiting for that, right? And he was hitting like 20 plus points 3 straight weeks. And then last week it kind of just went back to what it was for most of the season. Even in the like last week.
Points.
Yeah, and last week was the week that everyone finally like ranked him super high too, because it was the Washington matchup and he had been balling for 3 straight weeks.
I'd played him over Baker. I picked him up and played him over Baker.
Yeah. Oh, I had him ranked over Baker too. I will say that. I'm not even dogging that.
I'm not mad about my decision, but
yeah. But the thing is for me is that it's close with them, but like I'm gonna have them pretty close. I'm probably just gonna have Baker slightly ahead. It might be literally like a spot or 2 in my rankings ahead. Simply,
dude,
partly because of the
Jacksonville
matchup.
I want to roll with Smoking Joe. Like I want to roll with Smoking Joe.
I don't blame you, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't play him over those guys yet. I mean, can't.
I would strongly consider it.
Yeah, like, I understand.
I think we saw the worst of Joe Flacco, and he still came away with 20 points. Just because of the volume that they're gonna throw.
Yes, my only worry too is I would feel more comfortable if Stroud played, because if Stroud doesn't play and we get Keenum or Mills, like there's a very good chance that our defense could just stop them, destroy them.
Agree.
And then we can run because it doesn't matter.
In a normal circumstance, I agree with you, right? But if the Browns can't run the ball at all, I'm not talking about like they can't run the ball, they're getting 3 yards a carry. No, they're getting like 1 yard a carry.
Right.
They're gonna have to move the ball no matter what, even if you're trying to run the clock out. Like I get you're trying to waste the clock, but if you can't even get to the line of scrimmage at some point, like they're gonna have to do screens and do, again, those short 5-out yards, which Joe Flacco has been very good at over the past 3 weeks. So he's still going to throw the ball.
Right. So see, my thing is ultimately, I think that if with Flacco, if the game does get out of hand, like we do, like if Stroud doesn't play, we do put up a defensive touchdown or something like that against Keenum or Mills or whatever, and we get good field position because of turnovers. I don't see him throwing that 40 plus, because if you look at the last 3 weeks, it's all been close game. It's 2 close games and a loss. Like,
which was a close game.
yeah,
Oh no, it wasn't. It turned out to be a blowout at the end of it, but
right. But that's also why we threw a lot to come back. Threw 44 times, and he threw like a ton in the fourth quarter. Like, it was like 200 and some of those yards or something, whatever it was. I remember reading a thing there where it was like he put up like the most fourth quarter yards in whatever. So like, that's what worries me, because like even the Jacksonville game, that was a high scoring game where we, like, it was just like a back and forth game, and the last week's game was OT, right?
No,
so
we didn't go to OT.
No, it wasn't OT. Okay, that's right.
It was the Hail Mary last week.
Hail Mary. That's right, the Hail Mary. Yeah. But yeah,
this is a
I do agree with you.
This is a very good question.
Yeah, and I do agree with you.
They're all super close.
Yep. No, for sure. They're all going to be. So for me, like I like to start doing my full rankings, my first like full run through rankings on Thursday, like morning, afternoon. So I plan on doing that tomorrow. But I looked a little bit of kind of where
he'd have to pick by tomorrow for Stafford. He's going Stafford.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, is I probably wouldn't. That's even though I might rank Stafford second of the group in my rankings, I probably would just like wait it out, make the decision between Baker and Flacco. And
if you want a safe play, I think Stafford's the safe play.
You think so, even against New Orleans?
You know, he's gone 20 plus in 3 out of 4, and he put up 18 this week.
Yeah. I don't dislike Stafford.
I get the Saints are good, but I don't think they're as good of a defense from what we're accustomed to. Like, I still think they could be had, and I mean, Stafford did it against Cleveland and Baltimore, right? He put up 20 plus points against Cleveland and Baltimore. So, like, what defense are you scared of the Saints over them? I know the Cleveland had a lot of DB injuries, so it's a little different, but Baltimore's defense is no joke, and he still did it against them.
Yeah, no,
I think safe play Stafford.
See, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird. The Jags, for example, have let up the third most points to QBs on the season.
So you're rolling Baker.
I would roll Baker.
Okay.
Like,
Norton's rolling Baker.
Yeah, like
where's that game at?
Let's see here. And Baker does have more points on the season than Stafford. It's at Tampa.
Check weather. I would check the weather.
Yeah, especially because be a lot of rain and wind.
I heard there's a lot of I think there's supposed to be a lot of rain this week, so I would check the weather in that game and see what the forecast is. If it's supposed to be sunny in Florida, roll Baker. If not, a safe plays Stafford, but I think you're good on all 3 of them. I think they're all going to be pretty decent.
Yeah, true.
That's a good question too.
This is the same point you could make with the Flacco and Stroud situation. Yeah, I mean, and again, I think the funny part is that Baker and Flacco, it's funny because it's both Browns ties, but and it's both have a similar kind of setup too, because I think Tampa is also not a very good running team. They're Rashad White is good, but he's more of a pass catching guy. Like their run efficiency is pretty bad. So like that, it's the same kind of thing where the Browns right now, they're normally a very good running team, but obviously, like you said, we haven't been able to because of the line issues and banged up forward a little bit, and like it's just
I think it's weird where like my gut is telling me Flacco on this. Again, I'm a Browns fan, so take it for what it's worth. Albert, my gut's saying Flacco, and I think the safe play is Stafford. Baker, but I think they're all really good options. And Norton's saying kind of the opposite. Baker's his guy.
Yep.
Stafford's the safe play.
Yeah, he's kind of the middle one for me.
Flacco, he's not as excited.
Yeah. Which I never thought I'd be arguing for Baker. I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah, I can attest to that. But Albert, make sure you check that weather and forecast for that game. I would say
for
that.
sure. Absolutely.
Amazing going Baker, Stafford, Flacco. Can't argue it. I get it. I get the points. I'm just saying I think Flacco's I think he's just getting a little disrespect, which I get it because again, he's a 40-year-old, only played 3 games, but all 3 games have been
it's so
all
crazy.
3 games have been solid, man. And he's making my biggest point on this too, and then we'll move on, but he's making throws that most NFL quarterbacks cannot make.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Like
it's insane that he was not
your
on
typical
a roster,
50-year-old, right? It's not your Peyton Manning when he was 40 and could barely throw the ball. Flacco still has an arm.
Flacco is still slinging it.
Just saying it, but let's keep it moving because we spent way too much time on Joe Flacco. Dak Prescott, week 15, 21 of 34, 134 yards, no tutties, 1 pick, 7 fantasy points. If you had him and played him, you probably lost. QB 32 on the week. If you had a bye and Dak Prescott was your quarterback, how confident are you playing him this week?
So most people are not going to be confident because recency bias is a hell of a drug. I'll tell you that. And I'm not always like that though. Like I think you guys probably know me enough by now where like the one game recency isn't going to change much for me unless there's some specific reason why. I really think it was just a bad game. I think the Bills got to him. Like they just played great. Like it was just a bad game by Dallas, awesome game by Buffalo, and that's what I'm chalking it up to.
Things going on.
Yeah, like
weather was terrible.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still gonna have him top 10.
CD looked pretty dinged up.
Yeah,
he was limping around the whole game.
And you know our boy CD is gonna bounce back.
He'll be fine. Wide receiver 2 coming.
Yeah.
Number 2 overall coming.
Baby.
But
I love it.
I'm with you. I think Dak, I know it's scary after what just happened, but I think you still roll him out. Like, what are your, like, again, your options are what we just talked about. Baker Mayfield, Flacco, maybe Stafford. I'm playing Dak overall then.
Here's an interesting one. Because I was thinking about it because I think some people may have this. I do have this dilemma, but I think some people may have this considering how it was in the beginning of the season. Dak versus Kyler, considering a lot of people either like stash Kyler or drop Kyler, picked him up. Dak also was like someone who struggled a little bit early in the season. People dropped a little bit here and there.
I picked him up in a lot of leagues.
Yeah. So like both of those guys could be guys, and they've both struggled recently. I think I still have Dak slightly ahead.
Dak's done it since week 6.
Right. Kyler runs a little more, obviously, but like, which kind of insulates his floor a little bit, but his ceiling hasn't been there, obviously. Like like he didn't have a good. Yeah, like he didn't have a good game last week. The first couple games were pretty solid because he ran a touchdown.
Weeks were good. Yeah.
But
again, it was like you said, it was because he was running.
Yep. So I still go Dak though. There, I think.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like it. Yeah, I think Dak's still like you said, top 10, top 8 QB. Let's get to the running backs. The guy you mentioned earlier, Ty Chandler. Week 15 performance, 23 carries, 132 yards, 1 tutty, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 37 yards, almost 25 fantasy points. Good enough for RB5 on the week. Are you playing him this week confidently, or was it a fluky game?
Are we assuming Madison doesn't play?
Let's say Madison does not play. Let's do both.
If Madison does not play, I'm playing him confidently because I think ultimately we saw the volume he got. We've seen him, dude. He even earlier in the season, like he looked more explosive every time than Madison. Like I remember tweeting it out like every game that I watched of them. I'm like, Ty Chandler is greater. It's like Tyler Chandler greater than
Good.
Alexander Madison. Like
Yeah.
he's more explosive. Like but if Madison plays, I'm not playing him confidently, at least. Um, yeah, like he definitely drops some because Madison's gonna obviously then get 10 to 15 touches.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it'll be like kind of a
You
split.
think? They did say Ty Chandler is going to be the focal back, even if Madison comes back.
Yeah, and I saw that. I was gonna say, you saw that they would still give him a good amount of work.
They have Detroit, tough run defense.
Yeah. Although I had seen a thing, I was listening to a podcast that one of their best run defenders on the line. I can't remember the name. I wish I could remember his name. For the Lions has been out, and they've struggled a little bit since then. And he's supposed to be out again. Although I still think that it's not. They're still like mid pack during that stretch. They were like elite early in the year, and they've been kind of mid pack recently, but they're still good. So it's not like it's not like it's like all of a sudden a great matchup. But yeah, I do think that if Madison plays, he at least steals enough work, like anywhere from 8 to 12 touches, 10 to 15, like in that range to at least make it to where you don't feel as comfortable starting Chandler, considering the matchup, considering the workload decrease. So, but if he doesn't play, I'm pretty confident in starting him.
I get it.
How do you feel?
Not as confident as you.
Okay.
But again, I was not confident going into last week with him. I was telling people not to play him, so definitely bit the bullet on that one. I don't know.
I screwed myself in baby ball, dude.
Yeah.
Eat me alive. Eat me alive.
Since his defense has been not great lately.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
It was a plus matchup for him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Like if he beats up Detroit's defense, he's legit. Like it's a legit defense to run against. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm just not confident in playing him. But again, there's so many RB injuries that how do you not, right? How are you not playing him?
True. Yeah.
Unless you have some elite options, like would you play him or JT?
Would I play Chandler or JT, you said?
Mm-hmm.
JT.
Who are you playing?
Taylor.
Okay. All right. So you're okay.
Yeah. I'll probably have Chandler closer to like 12.
Okay, him or A-Chain.
See, this is the part. This is gonna be one of those that I absolutely hate because I want to play A-Chan, right? Like to me, he's just more explosive, bigger upside. But
that's a realistic option. That's probably a real big problem people have.
If Madison, here's the thing: if Madison is out and A-Chan still comes into like Friday, Saturday, dinged up or whatever, like he had that questionable tag with the toe, and Mostert's active, and I probably would just lean Chandler because of the volume and feel safer about it, I guess. And then
that makes sense.
Like, but it's gonna be it's awful because then next thing you know, A-Chan goes for 40, and you're like, why did I do this?
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair. A guy we talked about last time we did this, but I want to talk about him now. Monty, 17 carries, 85 yards, no tutties, 3 targets, 2 catches, -3 yards, 10 fantasy points, RB23 on the week. If you look at since he came back from the injury, he came back the week after their bye. Every week he's gone down in points, fantasy points for the game, right? I think he had 19, then he had 17. I think it went to 15, then 12, and now 10.
So you're telling me 6, 7, or 8 in that range?
I mean, that's what it seems. It seems like a trend.
It's true. It's true. I feel like this honestly 17 carries for 85 yards and 3 targets. Like I'm fine with. Like I'm fine with that kind of thing. Ooh,
I would not even do that, but I love it.
that's a recency bias to the
I
max.
love it, brother.
That is for sure. That's
I
bold.
get it though,
That's
right?
bold.
Like I get it. I wouldn't do it, but I'm saying I understand Dak coming off that game he just had. Flacco's been putting up points.
I
Get it.
understand the want to do it. Like,
Yes.
but I'm also, like I said, I'm not one to fall into recency bias as
Yeah.
much as most
Dak's
people.
been
So it's
too
like,
good.
yeah,
Dak's been too good.
yeah. But with Monty, like 17 carries and 3 targets, 20 opportunities. I'll take that more weeks than not. Right. Like,
Yeah.
and on a team that we know that they're a good run offense, good offense overall.
Yeah. I think the bigger concern for me with this is the red zone carries have pretty much gone to a split between him and Gibbs. That's
Which you
because
don't
at the
love
beginning
that.
of the season, right? The beginning of the season when Monty was, I think he was like RB5 for a while.
Yeah, it's killing it.
He was getting all the red zone touches, all of them. And now it's, again, back to a 50-50 split where it's not as that's why a couple weeks ago we talked about him for Dynasty, and I was super confident in Monty for Dynasty because he was getting all those red zone touches. I'm starting to get a little nervous just because of what I'm seeing, this trend being with Gibbs getting more carries inside the 10-yard mark. So again, like, are you confident playing him this week?
He's gonna be an RB2 probably for me, RB2 ranking.
So is this where you haven't fallen like weekly, kind of like?
Yeah, I've had him usually
RB
like
15 to 25.
Yeah, he's usually been in that. You said 15 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been in that kind of range for me. Usually closer to like 15 to 20. Like it's almost always where I have him is like 18 or 17, 19. Like
Yeah.
So he'll probably
13
be in that
points a
same
game.
range. Yeah, they'll be in that same kind of range again.
Yeah, I get it. He's getting the carry. I mean, he's getting 17 carries, getting good. It's not like he's not producing with the touches either, right? Like 17 for 85, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just want to see him find the end zone. He's turning into touchdown dependent, right?
Yeah.
Very
Definitely.
touchdown dependent, which is not great, but on that high-powered offense, how good they run it, I think it's a comfortable spot to be.
Yeah, you could do worse.
You could do James. Noah Brown, week 15, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 82 yards, a tutty, 22.2 fantasy points, wide receiver 9 on the week. You love to see it from the former Buckeye. What's your thought on Noah Brown?
I want to like it more, but
I get it.
I don't feel good about the fact that. So Collins is still questionable, right? From what I'm seeing. So if Collins does play, I definitely don't feel great about it, considering is it gonna be Keenum again? If
seems like it.
Stroud doesn't go.
Yeah, seems like it.
Okay. So yeah, if it's Keenum and Collins plays and versus the Browns, like I would not feel comfortable with Noah Brown. Like I want to more because it's been fun and he's a Ohio State guy.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
But
keep going.
I can't get down with the matchup, the combination of QB.
It's a tough matchup.
Yeah, combination of QB and like.
What if Nico doesn't play?
If Nico doesn't play, I'll feel a little bit more. I still won't rank him probably as high as like a lot of people will coming off of this game. Again, it's another situation where I'm not gonna.
He has produced this season.
He has. He had those. It was 2 pretty monster games, and then he got banged up again, and then he came back. When he did come back, I think it was that first week back, he got goosed. but that was also a
Yeah.
first game back thing.
Mhm.
So like I don't really try to hold that against him because it's
Yeah,
probably a lingering
his snap
injury.
count wasn't even great in that game.
Yep.
It was, yeah.
But so he has produced when healthy and when given the opportunity, which is, I mean, all you can really ask for, right? But
hmm
it's another situation where like I'm like, man, Case Keenum versus the Browns, Noah Brown, who really hasn't done much in his career to this point, like, and then I'm just
Fair.
like, I don't know. It's hard. I'm not against starting him. Like I'd be fine starting. I'm probably gonna rank him as like, in that
Flexible.
like, yeah, in that where we were talking about like Jaden Reed and the Jaden Reed, Brandon Cooks, Curtis
Yeah.
Samuel kind of range.
So you're saying you're not super confident in playing him?
Yeah, no,
One
definitely not.
Buckeye to another. Are you confident in this Buckeye or that one? Garrett Wilson. Week 15, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 29 yards, 0 touchdowns. He's the reason. Him and Breece Hall are the reason I did not advance in my other league. 6 fantasy points, wide receiver 66. Where you at? First, let's go with who are you playing? Garrett Wilson or Noah Brown?
I gotta go G Willie, baby.
Okay, G Willie isn't.
It's
How
just
confident are you?
I mean, I'm not as confident as I want to be. I'm not as confident as I am, like, just off first thought. Like, my first thought, I'm like, oh, Garrett Wilson instantly. Like, but I'm like, man, it's been a little bit rough. But
who's playing? Tim Boyle? Is that the QB?
I don't know. It can't be. No, it would be Simeon, right?
Wilson's out.
Is Wilson for sure out?
He didn't practice today with a concussion.
So Trevor Simeon then probably.
Who got cut? One of them got cut. Was it
Boyle got cut? Yeah, Boyle got cut.
That's how bad this Jets team is. We don't even know.
It's so bad.
Who's getting cut?
So
who's
down
playing?
bad. Yeah. And the thing is it sucks because you love the matchup. Absolutely love the matchup against the Commanders secondary, dude. I want this to be like that bounce back week where he just balls out.
We want that, Nord.
Yeah.
We want that.
I want it so bad.
Are we going to get that?
I don't know. I'm asking Santa, and I told my son to put it on his list. He's got it over there.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a Christmas miracle or not.
I know we need it.
Here's one I have going right now. I'm debating. It keeps coming. These segues, they just keep coming. So I have to debate between Garrett Wilson and this next guy, David Njoku. Week 15, 14 targets, 10 receptions, 104 yards, a tutty, 32 fantasy points, tight end 2 on the week, back-to-back tight end 2. He's been killing it with Joe Flacco back there. Again, they're throwing the ball so much. How can he not? I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to play, David Njoku or Garrett Wilson.
Dude, I think I lean Njoku right now.
Right.
Like he's being used like a top end wide receiver.
It's insane.
A monster.
It's insane. So for the rest of the playoffs, if you have Njoku, obviously you're confident, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who do you have above him?
Who do I have above Njoku for like this week, next week?
Yeah. Like who are you more confident playing?
McBride and Kelce. It's probably the only ones I feel. Yeah, I mean, Njoku's going to be right there with like Hawkinson, Laporta, Ferguson, Ingram. I'm going to have Njoku probably third this week, I think. Right in that range, or third, maybe second. I don't know. In that range this week, and then next week. I mean, obviously, could change things, but like as it sits right now, I think the only ones that I feel like I like in my head were like if you could still trade right now, and you were looking at just these two games, and someone wanted to offer straight up, I would take Kelce and I would take McBride.
Funny enough, so you are confident in the boy wonderkins, Travis Kelce. You are confident in the boyfriend of Taylor Swift. Week 15, 7 targets, 5 receptions, only 28 yards, no touchdowns. He dropped one in the end zone. 10 fantasy points. Tight end 20 on the week. So you're saying you're more confident in Kelce than in Njoku right now?
Yes. Just because of, I mean,
History.
again, yeah. And
what he's done,
and he's still getting targets every single week. Like it's not like he's not like if it would be different if Kelce was not getting involved, was not getting targets, was not, but he's still getting targets on a weekly basis. Like,
are you concerned at all that the Kansas City offense is not what it was?
A little, like slightly, but not like. I mean, I'm just a full believer in Mahomes in general. Like, I think he's one of, if not the greatest I've ever watched. So, like,
I agree.
Like, I just think betting against him, and I think Kelce is going to go down as possibly the greatest tight end. He'll be in the conversation. Like, so, like that combination, like, it's just ultimately it'd be different for me if the targets weren't there, but the targets being there, like, still gives me confidence that any week he can go for 40 or 30 or whatever. Like, that being said, like, if Njoku outscored him, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't even be like, I would be like, oh wow, it makes sense. Like, he's been balling and he hasn't.
The crazy thing with Kelce is every year it seems like we look at, like, I have my list of the weekly finishes, on PFF. That's kind of how I gauge a lot of, I don't gauge a lot of stuff off of, but it's a good indicator of what's going on and trends and stuff like that. So I look at that a lot. Usually at this time of the season, we're looking at Travis Kelce with a whole bunch of ones next to his name. Whole bunch of number 1 overall tight end finishes. He has 2 this season. Last came in week 7. Since then, since week 7, he's had 2 in the top 5.
It's been
concerning.
Rough.
Yeah, it's concerning. But I understand it's so I have Wilson, Kelce, and Njoku. Those are the 3 where I'm debating just because.
Is it that? Is it tight end premium or no?
No.
Okay, because I think it's tight end premium. I feel much more confident just going the 2 tight ends.
I'm still more confident playing Kelce and Njoku over Wilson.
Yeah, I would be probably too.
Right? It's a dynasty. So full disclosure, it's a dynasty league. And I traded DK Metcalf away for Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
Had to do it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
And I am, my team's stacked, so I'm still going to run through this playoffs. I'm not worried about it, but my my flex is a little iffy right now. Just with I thought Garrett Wilson. Honestly, I was confident in Zach Wilson, or not Zach Wilson. I was confident in Garrett Wilson enough of Zach Wilson.
Same,
right? Like, I was enough where I'm confident playing him, where he's not going to kill me. Like, he'll get me 10 points. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But now with what's going on, I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. Throwing it back to mine, would you feel when it comes to Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson?
DJ Moore.
Right. Easily. And then what about Flowers and Wilson?
Zay. I can't, like,
Wilson and Achane.
Well, it depends if he plays, right?
Right. If Achane
plays, if he plays, I'm playing it Achane.
So you'd be benching Wilson for me.
Yeah. Like, Zach Wilson, or I keep saying Zach. Garrett Wilson's ceiling to me is like 10 points at this point.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I think it's gonna come down to,
like, this offense
him and Zay for me. Like,
this offense is so bad. They're not moving the ball at all. Breece Halls can't do anything because they're just stacking the box.
Garrett Wilson or Addison?
Right.
It's tough, dude. It's
Hold on.
and then also finish your point about the stack in the box with Breece Hall and stuff.
Yeah, it's just the Jets offense is so bad. I don't know how you can trust anybody.
You definitely can't trust them. That's for damn sure.
Let me see. How bad's Addison been lately?
He was awesome last week. He had that crazy, like, it was the one where Nick Mullins like threw off his like almost on his ass, and then like Addison caught the ball, took it to the house.
Yeah,
And,
I think you're running it. I think you're running Addison, dude. Like, I understand they're both capable of getting you not a lot of points, but Addison at least has the upside to give. He was wide receiver 1 this week.
something like that. Yeah, he was. I mean,
Yeah.
he was awesome
Yeah.
this past week.
So Addison, I mean, he has the upside at least, right? I don't think
Gosh,
Garrett
man.
Wilson's got the upside. Like, let's take a look here. Wilson, I mean, I guess 2 weeks ago he had a good day, but that was with Zach
That was
Wilson,
Zach
right?
Wilson, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been pretty
So-
rough without Zach Wilson. Like when it's been Tim Boyle and Simeon, it's been, although the Simeon played for part of that game with Boyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they benched Boyle for Simeon, I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like I was watching that game because I'm pretty sure it was a primetime game, and I thought I remember Simeon throwing Garrett Wilson the ball a good amount, but I don't know, and I even if he did, I don't know how many he caught and were even catchable. So I just hate it. I hate it. The Garrett Wilson season that happened this year.
It's a tough go, but I don't know. I just at this point, I'm talking about playing a tight end over Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Is
Like,
there
I don't
anyone?
care.
Is
I
there
don't
anyone
care.
that's?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Is there anyone that's more of a more obvious of a bounce back candidate next year than Garrett Wilson, or is he just the most eyes wide open?
Yeah, blow the doors off.
Yeah, I saw Ian Hartitz release something. I didn't read the article yet, but I saw he like teased it with like the projecting the first round next year, and he had Garrett Wilson in the first round.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
like,
you could
clearly
can say Justin Jefferson, but
right, he had him
he was
fourth
hurt.
overall.
Right, like he was hurt. I think a good bounce back could be Calvin Ridley, maybe.
Yeah.
Obviously,
One that's not like an obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like back a head talk. That
Right.
I
Threw that
think
one at
he
you.
still has potential to be really good. It just hasn't clicked there yet, and it could. But other than that, like, it's Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers will be back.
Yep.
They better fix the offensive line.
Yeah.
Then, actually, you know what? You want to know another candidate?
Let's hear it.
Breece Hall.
Let's go, baby.
The
I'm
Jets.
here for both.
Like,
I'm here for both.
The entire Jets offense is a bounce back candidate just because of the quarterback play and how bad it's been. And again, I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think Hackett is not a good offensive coach. And I think the only reason he's the offensive coordinator is because he lets Aaron Rodgers do whatever the hell Aaron Rodgers wants to do at the line of scrimmage. I think the entire Green Bay offense was based around Aaron Rodgers doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. And that's why he brought Hackett to the Jets, because he knows he could get away with anything he wants to do. And he calls the games during the game. In my opinion, I think that's how it went. And we're seeing Hackett call the plays. And it's just not good.
He's the he's the Adam Gase to Peyton Manning for Rodgers, right?
Just follow Aaron Rodgers along, let him do whatever he wants to do, and we'll see what happens when Rodgers retires.
Not a bad way to make a living, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. You got a head coaching job, got fired pretty quick, but he's still getting paid.
That's true.
Nice
living better than we are, I'm sure.
Having fun.
Right? For sure.
Having fun. All right, Nort. Before we get out of here, let's remind people what we got going on this week. We have another episode tomorrow. Me and Mario will be back getting you guys ready for Thursday Night Football. Sunday, we're going to be off, obviously. Holiday season. Our schedule is going to be kind of jumping all over the place these next 2 weeks. So Sunday, we will be off. Next week, still a work in progress. We'll put something up on Twitter. Other than that, if you got any questions, just hit us up on Twitter. You know where to find us at DadBodFS, or hit Norton up at Norton0723. Obviously, he's the man. He knows what he's doing. Where are you at in the rankings on PFF?
Slipped recently. I didn't check this week's. So I usually check on Wednesdays, but obviously had a whole different schedule going on today, and was out of the groove. Didn't have as much time, but I will probably actually check after we get off here, tweet something out, because I've been tweeting out like an update at once a week, like what my weekly ranking was and where I'm at on the year. The last I checked was like 30th, because I was up to 14th at one point.
He's
and
killing
then
it.
Yeah, slipped.
30 is nothing to sneeze at. He's still doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
So go, if you got questions, again, hit us up at DadBodFS or at Norton0723, and somebody will get to you. We'll answer those questions. Sure. We'll be here again tomorrow getting you guys ready for Thursday Night Football and any last-minute start-sit questions you guys might have. But again, we'll be here all the way up through those Saturday games, Sunday games, getting you guys ready. For Norton, I'm Rob. Peace. And I forgot to put up the outro. Peace.
Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.